Honorable Minister Mohage Gribal, Director General Abdullah Salik Jr., Director Roger Masapol, Assalamu alaikum, magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. Good morning. First of all, I want to congratulate the government of BARM for organizing this consultation in preparation for the Transforming Education Summit. We are proud as United Nations to be part of this process. I'm also glad that our leading agencies, UNICEF and UNESCO, are hand in hand supporting the government of the Philippines and the Bangsamoro authorities in the organization of the Transforming Education Summit. I'm persuaded that the result of this 2 days consultation will be an important contribution to the position that the Philippines will set at the upcoming summit in September in New York. But beyond the summit, I hope that the result of these consultations will help placing education at the center of BARM's development agenda. As we know, education is more than what we see in a classroom. Education is science, education is jobs, education is culture, education is democracy, technology, and education is also human rights. And experience shows that the countries that invest the most in education are the ones that the best build their future. The future of any nation relies on the quality of its education. And we know that the COVID-19 pandemic has seriously impacted education systems in many countries around the world. The closure of schools have set off alarms of a global learning crisis. And the Philippines is not an exception to this global crisis. As you know, many reports have recently reflected the serious situation of the education in the country and also in BARM. Many specialized organizations have also warned that unless action is taken, learning losses may continue to accumulate once children are back in school, endangering future learning. So the preparations of the upcoming Transforming Education Summit is a unique opportunity to share views, positions, ideas on how to rethink education in a changing world. The summit will provide a unique opportunity to reinvent education, revitalizing efforts to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, and particularly Sustainable Development Goals 4 by 2030. There are 4 principles guiding the preparations for the Transforming Education Summit that I would like to share with you. Number 1, consultations should be country-led. And I'm glad to note that the national government has taken a strong leadership in these consultations. The recent appointment of Vice President Sara Duterte in her capacity as Secretary of Education as the national convener for the test reflects government's commitments with this process. Number 2, the consultations should be inclusive, and we recognize that it is critical for the voices of the people in BARM to be heard in the national consultation process. I'm also pleased that the Ministry of Basic, Higher and Technical Education is engaging with NGOs, the private sector, schools and universities in BARM to make this process a great success. Number 3, consultation should be youth-inspired. And the UN Secretary General has made a special emphasis of the importance of the role of the youth in shaping the summit and making sure the summit itself is prepared with and for the youth. I'm hopeful that the messages from yesterday's consultation session with the youth and adolescents of BARM will be fully reflected and incorporated in today's discussions. Number 4, consultation should build on existing efforts. And I understand that today's event is also part of the BARM's regional government's process of consultation for the Bangsamoro Education Reform and Development Plan. I think that linking both processes is a great initiative. From the UN perspective, we are advocating for the following priority actions. 1, reopen all preschools, schools, and learning centers as soon as possible with 5 days a week of in-person classes. Number 2, conduct rapid literacy and numeracy assessment nationwide and launch an emergency learning recovery plan targeting foundational and socio-emotional skills. 3, elevate the value of the teaching profession with corresponding investment in increasing compensation, training benefits, protection, career advancement, and reduction of non-teaching activities. 4, launch a digital learning national program to provide connectivity to all schools by 2030. Devices with learning application to all students in last-mile schools and rural areas, and digital teaching trainings. 5, increase budget allocation in the education system to implement the Basic Education Development Plan 2030 and commitments to the Transforming Education Summit, including reaching 6% of GDP by 2030, at least 20% of the national budget, and increase special education funds shared to at least 2% for municipalities. Your perspective of the future of education and the way education should be transformed is vital to accelerate the Sustainable Development Goals on education. So, dear partners and colleagues, I wish you a productive discussions ahead. Thank you.